do you still have too many family that would make it too complicated?
Who are you asking?
You.
I'd be glad to, but I want to do it after everybody that's here.
Can you coordinate with Ed? Can you coordinate with Ed afterwards? And
yes.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, welcome. Welcome to our monthly training. And let me pull up got too many documents open here. Here we go. All right. Just want to remind everybody our goal. You should know, what's our goal for the year? We have two goals. Anybody know?
Not anymore.
One is coming to our census. One of our goals is our goal is unreachable, of course, is to have everybody in all 3 states know how to use a census and how to
see. Yeah,
but we're working on it. That's one goal. The second goal is that because of the Temple to Temple Run anniversary this year, is to teach people how to find someone to take to the temple. Those are our 2 goals. So the activities that we have every month, the 3rd Saturday, revolve around that. And this Saturday, if you could please spread the word, make sure that everybody knows that this Saturday between 9 and 11, we're having our big 50s party. And it's going to be learning about how to index the 1950 census. But we'll also have other things going on, to help people with their difficult genealogy problems or how to find a name or whatever. So the main emphasis is going to be on census indexing, but we'll have other things. And we're hoping to have a children's area too, so people can bring their families. So that is our main thing for the year and for this month. And so, Brother Morris, you're the only real lead person we have here. Do you have any success stories you'd like to share with us?
I'll turn on here. I got my little one. We're planning our own ward 50s party. So we're gonna have some snacks, some 50s snacks. Did you know that Chex Mix was like a 50s snack back in the 50s?
Oh, I want to know that. I'm gonna buy that. Okay. Because you're having it the same day, but in the afternoon, right?
Right. Yeah, a couple hours. And just pump that up today, trying to hopefully, I don't expect to get a lot of people, but I did also tell my ward members, I'm trying to promote that they can go online and do it just themselves anytime. And we have a goal of doing 10,000 names for the ward.
For the ward?
Yeah.
In which time period? On Saturday?
That'll be, well, we're going to extend that from starting Saturday on through the 30th of April. So we've got to post up a thermometer. We're going to fill it up, with the red and show our goal where we're at and try to get there. So it should be fairly doable because you can do 100 names in less than an hour on that. The reviewing is so easy to do. So that's what we're up to. And so hopefully it'll work out all right. Well, I'm gonna post in the chat some 50s music. I found a thing of 1950s music. Runs for an hour and a half. So we'll be playing that in the background. It'll be fun.
Good.
Cool. Pam Warren, I was talking to her yesterday. She said their bishop was all excited about family history and challenged their ward to do 10,000 names, and they did it. So it is a possibility. Okay, well, we're going to turn the time over to Nancy, who's going to review with us how to do this 1950 indexing thing and whatever else she wants to teach us.
First of all, how many of you that are here, raise your hand if you have, or signal me a message for those of you whose pictures I cannot see. How many of you done anything with the 1950 census so far? John has, Angel has, Ed has. Okay, so and Helen's showing me a hand, and Jeff's showing me a hand. So does this mean that Pam and Diane are the people that need to learn the most? That are, okay. I don't want to bore everybody, but I want to make sure I cover everything. So I kind of needed to have a bit of an idea of how much to leave out. This is so exciting. The church and ancestry and a host of other people have been working forward to this for a long time. So this is the beginning. The United States government takes a census every 10 years. And for reasons that they have, it is not released to the public. They use it for governmental purposes, but it's not released for the public for 72 years. So on April 1st of this year, they released the 1950 census. And this was done by the National Archives. And I didn't realize ahead of time how much the National Archives was in on this. They made their own computer-read, artificial intelligence, computerized, made, and the computer read the handwriting in the census and indexed it, and they published it at 0001 on April 1st. So if you go to the National Archives, you can do a search for a specific location and a specific name. And a lot of people found their families in the census immediately doing that, which is remarkable, I think. But making it available to everybody is far more than just being able to send everybody to the National Archives for a name-only list. Family Search and Indexing decided to make a partnership. No doubt in the last few years, they have discovered that Ancestry has a great computer program for being able to read handwritten documents and index them, or not index them, but read them. So Ancestry said, our computers can do an initial reading of the census, and Family Search said, and our volunteers can check and see if your computers are correct and add information to it so that it is a searchable index that can then be listed as sources on people's Family Search data. So like I could look up my dad and find him and then add him as a source in Family Search. And then Ancestry says, well, then we can use the information we already have in place that gives every member of the LDS Church a free Ancestry account. And you can use our talk back and forth system to transfer the source from your Family Search account to your Ancestry account, which makes it possible then for everybody in the census to be found by index and then listed as a source in Ancestry and Family Search. So this is an absolute marvelous thing. And the church has played a little bit with using the computer read lists already, and Ancestry believes they are expert at being able to take their computers to read the documents. So things are in place. Each side also did a couple of extra things. Ancestry put on their site a tool to use, which is similar to what StephenMorse.org or .com does to figure out which enumeration district your family's in, so that if you don't want to wait for the index, you can use that enumeration district finder to figure out which enumeration district to look up. And almost immediately, Family Search, as soon as they got all of the downloads of the 150 million people in the census, they set up a system so that you can go to the images of the 150 million people and look through a list of all of the enumeration districts, which are not in order, and then look up your family. And so I did this last week. I was really excited. and I found my family in, I found me in the 1950 census. I found one of my grandparents' families in the 1950 census. I didn't find the other one. I found a couple of other people that I looked for. But really, the best thing we need is an index. The index makes such a difference. So the church began thinking about this a while back, and they did a few things. One of the things they did was they changed the heading of the family search page. It used to say, and I think I'm going to go ahead and go to share screen and show you what the page looks like when you open up family search. It's always said family search, family tree, search, memories, and activities, but it used to say web indexing. And now it says get involved. And that is because of the church's or family searches steps to make the indexing, the census, and other things more available. They also put an ad on, they put an app on their phones that you can get by going to get involved, the same word. If you go to your app store, which, and mine is called Play Store. And if you go to that and get the free app that's called Get Involved, then you can do some of these same activities, as well as, oh, Diane's got
Get
something
involved.
pulled up. It doesn't look like mine looks. But you do
Little
that
and
on,
blue.
it looks like the family search logo, but it's blue. And it's available for you to use for census indexing and other indexing. So I think the church is going to continue to use it. So on about April 2nd, the church began to make available work that needs to be done on the 1950 census. So if you go to, when you first open up Family Search, this is the screen that you get. And if you come over here and click on Start Now, you get started. If you click on Learn About the Project, you get the instructions. So if we go to Start Now, and we've clicked on Get Involved, these are the things that show. We can do an overview, which includes, nowadays it includes a quick little video. My Opportunities, which lets you choose whether you want to do indexing itself or name recognition, review of what the computers found on non-census stuff, regular indexing, or if you want to do the 1950 census. And if you choose you want to do the 1950 census, this is the page that you get. And it says down here, indexed by computers, reviewed by people. Now, some of us maybe thought that on April 1st, all 48 states, I say that because there were only 48 states in 1950. But they haven't released it that quickly. They've only released a little bit at a time. And so here is a map of the United States. And if it's gray, it means it's not available. They haven't even started it yet. If it's yellow, if it's this color of yellow, it means that volunteers, meaning us, have already done the whole state. They've gone through and checked every name that the computer read in the whole state. If it's white, it means it's still available to be read. So if we click on Louisiana, we're going to find that it's 32% done. That's pretty close. It also, if you'll notice, it says that, 11% done. That doesn't match.
Nancy, I have
Down
a
here
question.
it says, okay,
Question. That
talk louder,
light yellow-
Diane.
that light yellow, can you explain why it's 100% done whenever it said that it's just 25? It says that it's 25 to 49%.
Well, when it was first started, they made this map, and as soon as the name recognition part was 100% done, they said it was 100% done. Then they realized, oh no, it's only one of the 3 parts to the index system that is done. So then they backed it off to under 33%.
So how can you tell that it's actually really all done if it's not that dark orange?
Well, what you can tell, so let's look on Oregon. Oregon is the review names part. First of all, I'm going to back up and say this. In order to index the system using this new software and projects that they figured out, indexing the census is in 3 parts. The first part is called review names, where we just check the names, and that can be done on either the computer or your phone. Then there's the review families, and that part is where you do a whole family group and then review the document header. And that means make sure that on each family's name, it tells which enumeration district and which date, and the information that you would need to be able to find it in an index. So there's these 3 parts. So the review names for Oregon is 100% done. But the reviewing family part is only 1% done. So the total then is 32% done. The total of the 3 parts put together. And the review document header, it's this. The review document header is just 1% done. Somebody's screeching my telephone. Excuse my husband while he turns it off.
Child abduction.
The
Oh, my
Amber
husband
Alert. We
turned
all
it
got it. We all got the Amber
Did you?
Alert at the same time. Yeah.
Okay. So you have to realize that you're looking at 3 different things. 100% reviewing names, in this case, 100%. Reviewing document, it says it's not available yet, check back later. Or reviewing families, which is 1%. So 1% of Oregon's families have been reviewed household by household with all of the household information. So the first thing I need to teach you about is how to do a name review. And I have to choose a state that is white in the map because they're the ones that are not yet finished. So let's choose Louisiana. And it says that Louisiana is made a lot of progress. Now, see, here I'm not agreeing with their math. This says 32% of the reviewed names is done. Oh, 30% of the reviewed names is done. We can look at the little orange bar, but that means only 11% of all 3 steps are done. So let's click on Get Started and see what the screen looks like. I'm going to back up later and teach you how to use your phone. When you are doing this census, they think you'll be more interested if you look for your own last name. So let's put in my own last name. My own last name before I married, that would be what I would be searching, is Everett. So then when I click on, it's going to show me this again, and then it's going to turn automatically to how I review names. So now it is showing me a page of the census, but it is not telling me whether this is Baton Rouge or which part of Louisiana. I could scroll up and down on the page and read it. But what I'm doing here is I'm just checking to see if the computer knows how to read names. So it says that here in this blue box, and this blue box is not inclusive, so it really means the whole word that's in the blue box. If it is the word that is in the white box, and I have about 5 options. I may either choose that it matches, that it needs to be edited, that I really can't figure it out, that I can tell that it typed up something that is not anybody's name, or that there's some kind of a transcription error. And if I click on transcription errors, it gives me the possible options of not readable, blank, crossed out, incomplete, or other. And so if it was one of those things, I could click on transcription error and fill in that other little form that would pop up. Not a person would be, for example, if it tells me no one is at home, then I could click out and say that's not a person. But in this case, Everett, it's spelled the same in both the page of the census and in the little white thing that shows up. Does that match? Everybody that has your microphone turned on, tell me, does that
Yeah.
match?
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm seeing Diane shake her head. Yes, that matches. So I click on match. Then it goes over to Harry M. Does Harry M match? Yes. If it said Harry M Senior, it would just be concerned about the Harry M. Match. And the wife's name is Inita. Yes, that's the same. Vacant, is that somebody's name? No. So I have to click over here on not a person because vacant is not a person. Vacant is still not a person. Now, Deaver, match. No, Nora, is that Nara or Nora? When I
Nora.
look up here at an A and at an O, I think it's more than like the O, so I'm going to say match. If I wanted to say unsure, that would be absolutely fine. This one is Evans. Aline. Thibeaux, match. Euphl. I think that maybe that's an I with an accent on it, but I'm not sure. So I'm going to say unsure. Isabel, match.
Yeah.
We are just, now we've got that same person's name again, and this time a junior. I'm going to say unsure. Junior. Yes, I think that that's junior.
I have to say that
Oh,
you
dang.
drew, that's a, hey, I think that when you said Mark, not sure, E-U-P-H-E with an accent, a grave on it. It's probably French
Okay.
too. It's probably a French name. Because
So let's back up till we get to that, and let's do edit. And let's see if I can put an accent on it. Whoops, I only want one accent. Okay. So now anytime I edit something, I can't click match. I have to click submit because I'm submitting what I changed. And I think that that's a junior, so I click match. But I also am going to want to go back to that first time that that name showed up. So it's going to take me a couple of going backs. Oh, now I have to go forward. I can go forward by clicking match. Now I'm going to click edit, backspace, accent. Oh, I need an E and then an accent. So
am I
did
correct?
I get the other one right or not?
Yeah.
And the way you go forward is you hit match again. Now we should just about be to the end of the first 20.
It says review names 18 of 20,
Okay,
19,
you're seeing that there I am. We've
and
done
20
20
of 20.
names. We have done one whole batch. And in that batch, we had examples of matching, editing, unsure, and not a person. So that was a pretty good batch to teach you on. There's no way I could have chosen a batch and saved it to teach you with, but we were able to do that. That is one batch. Now, what if you get one batch started and you don't get it finished? You don't have to save it or anything. You just stop and what you've done will be saved. They have built that into the system for us, easy as can be. Now, that was review names. The review names is also on the app on your phone. And when you pull it up on your phone under Get Involved, it works exactly the same. The options on the bottom are a little bit different. One is match, one is edit, one is unsure, one is not a person, and the other one is a little flag. So if you want to do something different than those four, you click on the little flag to get the list of other things to choose. Isn't that easy?
Yes.
That is so slick and so easy.
Nancy, I had a
Now-
comment about the phone.
Okay,
I've done the phone a few times and I find that the bottom right buttons choices, it says done, and right above that is the back arrow, the backspace. So if I'm editing, I have to be very careful to not push the done button while I'm trying to do the backspace.
okay, so I'm going to restate what Ed just said. When you are using the phone app and you are choosing edit, then it's going to show you a little keyboard screen, and you do your edits on the keyboard screen. And one of the buttons on the keyboard screen now is done. Don't push done until you're finished with the editing. Just like on the computer, when you push submit, you finished with the editing. Well, on the app, when you've finished, you click done. And then it's going to save that name and go forward. So don't click, if you're still trying to click backspace to finish your correcting your editing, don't hit done. Is that what you were saying, Ed?
Yes, and another thing also on the computer screen, it's large enough on the bottom left, you have that arrow that points to the left. So you can back up through a few spaces if you want to adjust and correct. I don't find
Yes.
that on the phone.
It's not. Well, maybe it is after you've done the first couple. I don't remember, Ed. But so as we click on when we click on this after we've done the first name, so Livingston is a match. After we've done that, we get this backspace arrow. And that's the other one that Ed is telling us about. And that's the one I used when I backed up to get that name that had the accent on it again.
Yeah, but I couldn't find that back arrow on the phone.
Then it might not be there. I don't remember. But I use it enough that I like having it. I know it's not there until you started. If it is on there, it's not on there at the beginning. So thank you, Ed. Well, we can watch that. Now, so when do I use which one? I like the big screen. I'm going to use the computer unless, for example, we were taking a little drive to Flaming Gorge on Friday. And on the way home, I did 100 names or so on my phone. Now we're going to go to, unless anybody has any more comments about the name review, I'm going to go to the next section. The next section is the heart of the census, and it isn't quite as easy to learn or easy for beginners. And as of last night, when I checked it at approaching midnight, only Oregon was available for family review. And today they added 2 more states, and all of these that are in yellow are now available for family review. So just for the fun, I know, let's not do Utah. Let's just, for the fun of it, let's do Idaho and see what happens if we do Baird. So let's do get started. And for the last name, let's choose Baird. Now notice that you can't choose your own family. You can just choose your own last name. And they just think people are going to be more interested if they're looking for their own last name. That's why they did it. I just happened to realize that I was trying to do John's family. This isn't John's family. John's family was in northern Idaho, right?
Well, but
we're going to do.
A lot of them came from Idaho during moved up there when they were on the run from the law with polygamy.
Now I need to move on my screen. I need to move my Zoom stuff out of the way. So this is what it is going to show us. Whether or not Robert Baird is John's family. Now, the first thing it wants us to do is understand what a household is. A household is all of the people that live together in the same dwelling. So in this case, it says that Robert Baird is the head of the family. So we want to see if the people over here on the right-hand side of the screen are in Robert Baird's family. Somebody whose last name or whose first name is Wynn and whose last name is Earhart, and we figure that out because this line means ditto. Is Wynn part of Robert Baird's family? No. So we uncheck him. Now we have Robert D, yes. Annie S, yes. Robert S, yes. W. Dean, yes. And Sharon A, yes. And I'm going to go a little bit farther down with my scrolling just to make sure that they don't list anybody else as part of this family, and they didn't. So these 5 people are who we're going to review now. And I am not sure why Family Search decided for us to index everything that's on the form. I don't see the part of it's essential at all. We haven't had it in the past, but they're giving it to us, so we're going to index the whole thing. So we go to next. And now it says, what street does this family live on? Well, I can't read the street name from here. I'm going to have to enlarge it a bit, but it's right over here in blue, and I have to turn my computer sideways, or else I have to be sideways to figure out the name of this street. W-A-R so it's giving me 3 options. One is Warren Spur, which sure sounds like a funny street name. Other or blank or unreadable. It is Warren Spur. If I look real carefully, I figured this out, and that's what it is. So now we know that they lived on that street. One I did earlier did not have the street number. Now, it gives me, I'm going to have to deal a little bit with my Zoom stuff. This is the house number.
Over 1.5.
And it's kind of mixed. It's kind of mixed together, isn't it? That just doesn't make sense to me.
Over 1.5 mile.
The way, pardon?
It looks like over 1.5 mile.
Okay. Let's for house number, let's go with Diane, and let's say over 1/2, and I think I'm going to go ahead and put over 1/2 mile. Technically, that it would say that the top part would be the name, the house number, and the bottom part would be the apartment number. But I think Diana's right that it's over 1/2 mile. So maybe Warren Spur, maybe that's the name of a railroad track or something like that. The serial number on the dwelling is 45. So we check it here, and that's right. Is anything written in column 4? No, it's a blank field. So blank fields for the next couple of things. So we go on now to next. Now it's going to have us say, what is the surname? Baird, Robert D. No suffix to his name. That would be junior or senior. And his relationship to the head of the household is he is the head. His wife is Annie S. And she doesn't have a suffix, and she's the wife. Robert S. is the son. W. Dean is a son. Sharon A. is the daughter. We didn't have to change anything there. Now we go on to next. And now we have to make sure we're on the same line with Robert D. again. And I want us to be able to see the whole family, so I decreased the size a little bit. White, male, 34. Annie is white, female, 34. Robert is white, male, 12. Now I'm going to have to scroll down, not that scroll button, scroll down with over here to get W. Dean and Sharon. W. Dean is a white male, 11, and Sharon is a white female, 9. Next. MAR is married. NEV is never married. WD is widowed, and SCP is separated. We could find out those things if we clicked here on the arrows. But that's what we wanted. Married, born in Idaho, blanks. Annie, married, Utah, born in Utah. And here it has in very, very faint letters. I'm reading it as 087. They read it as 187. That's one of the ones that I don't really understand a purpose for, but they're asking us to do it, we'll do it. Now we need to go further down to W. Dean, who is never married, in Idaho, and blank. W. Dean, never married, Idaho, and blank. Sharon, never married, Idaho, and blank. And on to the next one. Now it says that in this column that Robert D is WK, he's working. And then the next ones are blank. Annie is H, which means housekeeping. And then no and no. And those are, did you look for work? Robert,
Farmer.
but farmer's not showing up yet. And for all of the children, the rest of the form is blank. So I'm just going to look and make sure that they're all blank. And then next. On this one, it says that Robert D worked 70 hours and he's a farmer on the farm. He owns his own business. And then in very faint numbers, it has this 100 and 105 and a 3. Now, what those mean, I don't know. They're so faint. I think they were added later. And I don't see a purpose for them. But if that's what we're supposed to index, I'll index them. However, I'm not going to get a magnifying glass to make certain I'm reading them accurately. Annie S. Is all the way blank, and all of the children are all the way blank. So I can go on to the next page. And it didn't click me. Now, every 5th person on the census is going to have to answer additional questions. So Sharon A., the daughter Sharon, has to answer more questions. Did she live in the same house? I presume that's 5 years ago. Her answer is no, it's just a little check mark. Were you on the same farm? Yes. In the same county? Yes. And then blanks the rest of the way across. On the blue highlighted areas. Now, where were your parents born? Her parents were born in the US and in the US. Her highest form of education is is S4. And S4 means elementary school. Did she complete the grade? No. And has she been to school since February 1st? Yes. All of these are blank. All of these are blank. We save it and we're done. Now that is one family. I think that that's much shorter than 2 indexers typing in everything they see on one family with a 3rd indexer verifying it. So we have just finished.
I think that, by the way, I think Robert S. Baird is the one that wrote several songs in our hymn book. And I think that's the one that did that.
Oh, really? How fun.
I think it's Welcome, Welcome, Sabbath Morning, and a couple others.
Well, we're all going to want to go look that up, aren't we?
Yeah, even me.
um,
But he was there because of polygamy.
so he was up in Idaho because of polygamy.
Yeah.
Now I'm gonna, I just, I'm trying to learn. Yes, Pam. You need to talk a little louder. Your microphone's probably turned quiet. Just talk and we'll try to hear you. Now for some reason you're muted again. Is it because of me? There.
Have us put a name in, but what about all the names that nobody is putting in? How do those get done?
You ask, what is the possibility that nobody is putting what?
It's asking for us to put a name in, and we do, but that doesn't necessarily mean that all of the names that are on the census will have somebody looking for their family.
I didn't hear you, but I think Diana Kremenko is getting her earphones on. Is that so you can help me, Diane?
Yeah.
Okay, what did she say?
Um,
Pam, say it again and maybe Diane will hear you.
We're going to index, it's asking us to put a name in, assuming that we will put our own name in. What about all
are
the-
they assuming that they're going to be putting their own name into the field?
Right. So what happens with all the families? How do all the other families get indexed if no one is searching for their name?
So if nobody is searching for their names,
So
I think she's asking.
if somebody's, is this what you're asking, Pam? If somebody's name is xylophone and nobody says they want to search xylophone, does xylophone ever get indexed? Is that your question?
yes.
Okay. Eventually somebody is going to come along and not put in a name. And so they're just going to give them a page to do. And they will do whatever on that page the blue highlights show up on. So maybe Jones will have already done Joneses. Maybe Baird's will have already done Baird's, but nobody's done xylophones. So that good person will do xylophone. Now, if I would not have clicked out of that page, the next screen says, oh, would you like to continue, please? And then I could have gone on to the next name and it would have said 7 more families on this page, 6 more families on this page. And I would have kept going. When I've done it, I've kept going until I got all of the families done. But that means that sometimes we might be given a page and we do the first family, but not the second one, but we do the third one. And it's because somebody has already chosen to do the second one. So it's going to take smart computers to figure this out so that it all gets done. And they think they've got smart computers. So we feel good about that. Now, if part of the Baird family was on the next page, if they were the last family on the page and part of the family was on the next page, a page is going to show up and say, oh, we think that somebody on the next page is in the same family. Will you look and see if you think so too? And if there was a Baird daughter on the next page, we would say yes, and we would go ahead and index that person. Another comment is the smaller the family is, the less scrolling you have to do, and therefore the easier the indexing is to do. I did several widows. Well, they were really easy. They were just the only person on the whole line. And then I did one really big family, and I kept having to scroll to make sure I got all of the children indexed for that group of questions. It is going to take more work to do the reviewing the families than reviewing the names, because we have 30 fields to check on instead of one.
Amen. Yeah.
But we in the past, we've indexed whole big pages of information. So we're going to be able to handle that just fine.
I have a question on that. So if 30 fields, but doesn't that count as more names actually done? Because each one's names are done, correct?
I don't understand what you meant, Jeff.
Well, if you select this to review names, we did 20, you did 20 of them a moment ago. But if you're doing families, every person in that family list is a name, right? I mean, it counts.
Right. So the name should have already been checked.
So instead of having done, even though there's more fields to do, having done, you will have done a lot more names in that batch.
So if the name consists of last name, first name, and a suffix, then I really, instead of doing 20 fields, I'm just doing 27.
Well, I mean to say you'll do the whole family group, but every name in that family group is a name done.
Yes.
Okay.
So that means it's not really quite as big as it sounded, right?
Right. I would think
Yeah.
more is getting done. I guess you do have to do the additional fields, the work or whatever, the gender, I mean, all that kind of stuff, but that's all helpful though.
Yes. And let me just tell you something that was interesting to me. I found my my three uncles. I was looking for my grandpa, and my grandpa had moved from the farm into town. Actually, he had died and my grandma moved from the farm into town. But my three uncles still lived in three ranches next to each other. My first uncle said that he worked 60 hours a week, and his wife, as a rancher, his wife said she had worked 40 hours a week as a ranch helper. Next farm down, my uncle said he had worked 40 hours a week as a rancher. And his wife, who's about the hardest working woman I've ever seen, said that she didn't work. And on my next uncle, he said that he worked 68 hours a week. And his wife said she was a ranch helper and she worked 62 hours a week. So the information that we get in that field might be somewhat based on what people thought themselves. You know, the one aunt wasn't willing to take credit for all of the work that she did on the farm, but my other aunt was willing to absolutely add up all of the time that she spent on the farm. So then that made me wonder, did any of the three of them count the time that they spent separating milk or cooking dinner or cooking breakfast? Did they count that as part of the hours that they've worked? Because farmers don't work if they're not well fed by their wives. So that was interesting thoughts that I had about that. It was also interesting that my dad's brothers all worked more hours on their ranches than my grandpa on my other side worked on his. And I think maybe that was kind of indicative of their personalities. So I think that we're going to find interesting things out about our families when we see this census. I think it's going to be fun to find them. It was fun to find myself. I'm just a little 4-year-old girl with no extra information, but I was pleased to find that out. Are we all going to be a little disappointed that it doesn't tell where the parents were born? Only every 5th person is going to tell where their parents were born. And so we're kind of used to the census as often telling us where a person was born and where their parents were born. And we won't have that except on every 5th person with this census. Now, well, the hour's just about up. But it seems to me that this is a pretty simple way to index a census. If you agree, wave at me. If you're excited to be doing it, wave at me. Everybody wave at me. Okay. I'm glad, Pam, I'm glad to have you come tonight. I think there were a couple more of you that I
Stop sharing your screen so we can see everybody.
have to figure out how I have to do that.
Oh.
Because when I move people away, it
Oh,
it goofs me up. I'm going to stop sharing. That's the first step, is to stop sharing.
oh, there we go. That's
Now
what
I
I
can
meant.
see. I can see most people. I cannot see.
I can see everybody now.
Well, there was one person who was here earlier that's not here now, that I'm not seeing. And let's just take a minute to read the two
Helen
chats.
Cox is gone. Helen Cox. Is
Yes,
gone.
yes, she's gone. Do you know her?
Oh yeah. She's a friend of Pam and mine.
Okay.
My last word.
Jeff says he's got an hour and a half of 50s music. We think that's a great idea.
Yeah, I copied his link, so maybe we could use it on Saturday.
Okay, good. So everybody is invited to do several things. Work at home, work on your phone, work on your computer, come to our party on Saturday morning, go to Jeff's party on Saturday afternoon.
We have breakfast.
In each ward, you can set up an indexing group and keep track of each other.
I've got to mention that I have a Boy Scout thing on Saturday, so I will not be there in the morning.
So Diane will not be at our thing because she'll be at her son's scout banquet. But if anybody wanted to buy tickets, she would certainly let you know. If you were to send her in a chat that you wanted to know, that you wanted to donate, she would certainly be glad to talk to you about it.
Yes.
But that's not our purpose of tonight's meeting.
I'm next in the line. So
Statistics
Okay.
for each individual person are going to be a little bit different with the census. The census statistics will be kept separate from your indexing statistics, but both will be available. And I'm sure I sure had fun doing names the other night. Ed did 100 names during our shift at the Family History Center. We were teaching Spanish ward how to do this, and we had one girl that did almost 100 before the evening was over. Any more comments? Okay, Diane, turn it back to you.
You're awesome. Okay, we'll have a closing prayer and hope to see some of you Saturday. Well, the Sparks will be on a vacation.
They will be with their daughter. Yay.
Diane will be with her sons. So, John, would you give us a closing prayer?